finally, they ruled right this time. They ruled the voting map diluted Black voting power. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Supreme Court, is that you? I am so shocked. This headline, Supreme Court unexpectedly upholds provisions prohibiting racial gerrymandering. Unexpectedly indeed. In an absolute surprising move, the Supreme Court of the United States did not totally gut the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Here's the basics of the case. At issue in the case was Alabama's congressional redistricting plan adopted after the 2020 census. The Republican-dominated legislature drew new district lines that packed large numbers of Black voters into one congressional district and then spread out the remaining Black population in other districts so that Black voters had little chance of electing a second representative of their choice in a racially polarized state. This reporting is coming from Nina Totenberg of NPR. By a 5-4 vote, a coalition of conservative and liberal justices reaffirmed the court's 1986 precedent, interpreting how legislative districts must be drawn under the landmark Voting Rights Act as amended in 1982. The court said that in Alabama, a state where there are 7 congressional seats and 1 in 4 voters is Black, the Republican-dominated state legislature had denied African-American voters a reasonable chance to elect a second representative of their choice. You better go ahead and say that. And we got bonuses coming, baby, if you can believe that. Get ready for this. The decision could reverberate across other states with reconsideration of how congressional lines are drawn in areas with significant Black populations. Go ahead and put the mayor up. Mayor, you know who I'm thinking about right now? I'm thinking about Gary Chambers in the great state of Louisiana, baby. I'm thinking about, I mean, come on now. There's some stuff brewing. And while the mayor is getting ready to make his comments, let's just go ahead and show our viewers who the justices that voted the correct way to preserve the rest of the Voting Rights Act. And we see the justices right there, Justice Sotomayor, Justice Kagan, Justice Brown Jackson, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, and Chief Justice John Roberts. This is how they voted, and this is where we are. So those lines must be redrawn. And as I mentioned earlier, it is going to reverberate across the country in a positive way. Mayor?
This is first of all, that coalition of justices is blowing my mind. The fact that the only Black man on that ballot said, or on that court voted no on this or voted against this is absolutely disgusting. And we should acknowledge that, because the 15th Amendment did something 54 years ago about Black men and our right to vote. So the fact that Clarence Thomas doesn't even feel safe being a Black man, even when it pertains to our voting rights, when his white friends are willing to go along with it, is absolutely disgusting, and it shows you where his loyalty lies. The idea that the Supreme Court ruled on this is basically a rebuke of one of their decisions. Not some of these people weren't on the, John Jackson and a couple other justices were not on the court, Kavanaugh, when they voted on Holder v. Shelby, I'm sorry.
Shelby.
But what we see though is we see that people are acknowledging we have to protect Black people where our vote is historically been prevented, right? Alabama and other southern states also, where we see they're willing to stack, pack, and crack districts to ensure that Black people have no voice in state politics. I mean, North Carolina is one of those states where you see our state, as you look at the people, how we're registered, it's almost 50-50 Democrats and Republicans, but Republicans have drawn districts where they basically control 90% of the state Congress. And I think until we are willing to address this based on racial ideas, then we're gonna have these problems. So I'm super excited about the fact that maybe the Supreme Court just gave wind to states like North Carolina and other people to address or find a way to bring cases that can address the harm that's happening to Black voters and our voices in these states.
Yeah, I am pleasantly surprised too, Mayor. Like I said, surprise. Did not at all see this coming, but very happy that it did. Oh my God, we're gonna definitely keep you posted as other states. Again, this will have an impact on some of the gerrymandering that went on in 2020 in other states in this union.